Hello, this is Denisa and welcome to my Flutter tutorial video series. This is the first video and I'm going to start right off with an app that I've made in Flutter called the Slide Puzzle, and it's a very simple and nice game in which you control a bunch of numbered tiles to get them in order. And this is made in Flutter, which Flutter is a toolkit for making apps to be built on platforms like desktop, iOS, Android, and web from one code base. So it means that while this app is running on web right now, from the same code base, it can be built to run on Android. All right, so getting quickly started, you can go onto the Flutter website and install the Flutter to start up your first app, which is the demo app that I'm going to go over that is included with Flutter. And they have very well documented instructions for this. Flutter in general is very user friendly and is well documented, and that includes the install as well. Now this is a Linux install, but it's across different platforms. You are generally the general components that you need to install Flutter is the Flutter SDK and the Android Studio, which Flutter relies on for its Android dependencies. Now, if you navigate to this website here and do what it says and install the Flutter SDK, it's going to vary a little again within each platform, but in the end, what you should do, I'm just going to demonstrate what my input is. After I've installed the Flutter SDK, and you can run Flutter Doctor. Generally, you use this to check if you have any problems in Flutter as well after you've installed it. Alright, so this is again going to differ on different platforms, but after you've installed the Flutter SDK, this is what you should have. Flutter, the Android toolchain. Again, this is after you've installed Android Studio, you should have this. And I have Chrome, Android Studio, and VS Code, but you may not need any of these if you're just going to code in Android Studio. So on to creating our first Flutter project. Again, you can do this through Android Studio if you installed it through the UI, but I prefer using my command line and VS Code, and I can create a new project straight away by using Flutter create in my direct after you navigated to your work directory, of course. And I'm going to create a new directory called my app and just create a project there. If you do this through Android Studio, the Studio is going to create a new folder for you automatically, and into an empty directory, of course. So, but again, this is how it works in my setup. And once it's finished, I can run the application straight away. So Flutter run. This is through the command line. Again, if you do this through Android Studio, it's going to be different. Now, if you do Flutter run through this, you're going to get a specified device, right? What this means is that when testing applications with Flutter, you can use a lot of things. That includes, if you're building for a web, you can use a web server or Chrome, like I use. But you could, if you're building for Android, you can just connect your phone or set up an emulator. But in general, you can check your devices, the connected devices, through other devices. And this is my output. You're probably going to get, you should, if you have your phone connected or you have an emulator up, you are going to, you should have more connected devices here. But I generally like to test my apps on web, even if I'm developing for my phone or Android, for example. In general, it's actually good practice to have to test for multiple platforms in general. So I'm going to Flutter run d Chrome, and that is going to run the app that is automatically set up with Flutter when you begin a new app. That's going to be your first Flutter app. Well, not your first Flutter app, but first look into how Flutter works. Alright, so once you've started running, it might take some time. But generally, Flutter will be faster to compile once you've gotten started editing your app and such, and I'll show that in the second video. But right now, we've got our Flutter demo homepage right here. This is a simple app in which you can increment a counter in the middle if you press a button. Quite a simple application, and this is very quick to get up. We can just look at the code. And if you the code for the app is general in the lib folder of your working directory. Right, and let's dissect this code right here. So Flutter is coded in a coding language called Dart. It's very similar to JavaScript, so if you're familiar with that, you'll get started very quickly with it. All right, and the way it works is that everything in Flutter is a widget. This button is a widget. This text is a widget. This changing text is a widget. This title is a widget. This app bar is a widget. This whole entire app is a widget. You can see here if we trace it down to the most, you can call it topmost layers. This is the floating action button with an icon. Even the icon is a widget, as you can see, and that button widget is located inside this scaffold widget. And this scaffold is this entire app. It also contains the app bar widget and the center widget, which holds these two widgets inside the column. So often a widget like center and column will act as layouts, also as elements, and all of these are inside the My Homepage widget, which is inside the Material App widget, inside the My App widget, which is run as main. So even the app is a widget, right? And just as I said earlier, everything is a widget. Everything is a widget with properties, and that's pretty much how Flutter works. You should go check the demo app out. All right, so that's pretty much it for the beginning of this video. Next video, we're going to learn how to very quickly get up a layout, just like the demo app, and we're going to go over how to create the layout for a color switch app in which you have two nice squares here, and you press a button in order to switch the two widgets, and that's going to lead up to creating this project right here. But you're going to also cover a few aspects of how things like stateful widgets and keys in Flutter work alongside layout. But that's all for the beginning of this video. All for this video. I hope you've enjoyed and learned something. And we'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.